Hello.
We are the world.
This is 80s music twin ranked, putting us smack dab in 1985, and we're doing something a little differently today. At least I said we are. So you
Right.
don't know what we're even
The band
doing.
we're doing today is
USA for Africa, which had pretty much its biggest,
everybody and everybody in it.
the biggest supergroup ever. Now I'm combining. Might do 3 videos separately on individual things I'm going to ask you about. First week, I'm combining 2 things that are recent. One, there was a Netflix documentary that just came out about We Are the World. And that brought up, you know what, I've been looking into it and thinking about, various things about the song and the artists. Second thing is, the Oscar nominations for this year just came out. And there's a big hubbub about the snubs of the women of Barbie.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Even though both women, the director and the star, were nominated, just not for the categories they
Correct.
wanted to be.
Yes. And in order for that to be a snub, then you have to figure out which of the other 5 women deserve to be booted. Because
Right.
Anyways, we're not talking about the Oscars. What I'm saying, what I'm combining is let's look back at the We Are the World and see, were there any artists from the success they had the previous year, which would have been 1984, that were snubbed? Should they have been involved in We Are the World? And so this may be a quick yes/no video, just depending how much discussion you want to do.
Yeah.
All right. Now I did notice going through all the artists who sang most, and there were a lot of individual lines. There were a few that never got an individual line. They were still there. Like the Pointer Sisters were all there, but they
Like Daryl Hall and John Oates were both there.
were both there, but John Oates was in
just
the
background. Yeah.
Huey Lewis and the News. All of the News are in the background,
Okay.
but Huey got his own line. So it looks like for everybody who got their own individual line or 2, it was solo artists. Nobody from a group except for Huey Lewis and the News, but the News were there, and all the Pointer Sisters, but none of them got their own lines. Now the question is, are there other artists out there that should have been included? And so I'm going to say through the soup because they didn't get people from specific groups, probably leave them out, which means we're not asking, despite Eliminator being a popular item, why wasn't ZZ Top there?
They just didn't fit what they were looking for.
No, yeah, and if you picked out singers from groups without the rest of the band, Mickey Thomas, would he have made it from Starship?
Yeah.
It just had Nuclear Furniture.
Right.
Kevin Cronin, we put Wheels Are Turning up there.
Yeah.
Could he have been there?
Yeah. Now I was gonna say, was it just artists that were from USA? Like,
Yes. So I am not putting any Canadians or no British. So yeah, I did notice they're all Americans. They were.
yeah. So Brian Adams, I don't remember him being in it.
No.
Elton John was not in
Correct.
it. I don't think so. So
Yes. Jimmy Jameson from Survivor. Vital Signs came out in 1984. Could he have been in it? Maybe. Rick Ocasek, obviously, from The Cars. Heartbeat City was pretty big. Cool in the Gang. You could have put any other... they had the Porter Sisters. Why not put the Cool in the Gang in the background? Lou Gramm. He went out on his own career.
Right.
He's considered a good voice. So those were the ones that came from groups. I'm going to say not snubs because they were part of groups.
Okay.
Okay, so now we'll go through the individuals. You tell me, were they... Oh, let me get 2 out of the way. These were specifically in the video, the Netflix video. And one was Prince. Now, you may consider that a snub, but he was asked to be in it.
And said no.
He said no, and probably because not a good fit. Although, maybe he wouldn't have done good in a group. He could have did what Michael Jackson did. Was Michael with everybody else? He was in his own separate room, wasn't he? When he did his lines, he was not with everybody. So Prince if he would have put his ego aside, because there was a sign on the door. Check all egos at the door.
Yeah, because there was multiple black people, right? There was Lionel Richie was in it. Was Stevie Wonder or
Yes.
Okay.
So we'll go through that in a specific one. Some of those artists that did sing on the song, should they have been there? That's the flip side of the snubs.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so let me go individually. Madonna, she'd be the biggest name. She was not in it. And from what I understand, there was a choice. Why was there a choice? I don't know. But there was a choice between her and Cyndi Lauper. And Cyndi Lauper won out. Now, get this. She's So Unusual was a bigger hit album than Like a Virgin.
You know what it reminds me? It's probably one of those. Have you ever watched the Ryan George shorts? He has one way back a couple years ago where it's like, I'm in.
Oh, yeah.
And it's
Yes.
Like, wait, if she's in, I'm not in.
Right. Okay, it's like,
So maybe that's what happened.
I'm sure
like,
they're-
Cyndi Lauper's gonna be there. I'm not gonna do it.
again, you have to check your ego, otherwise you may clash. Which is another artist, Waylon Jennings, was supposedly part of it. And there was a point where they wanted everybody to speak a different language, Swahili, sing a line in Swahili. And he goes, if it ain't English, I'm out. And he left.
And then they never did that, did they?
They didn't do that because they thought, yeah, it was probably stupid. Not everybody knows the second language. Okay, so Waylon Jennings, not a snub. He was there and he left. Now, whether he actually did anything in 1984, I don't know, because he was a country singer.
I wonder after he heard the song and he heard there's no Swahili, he's like, he just did that to get rid of me.
So he did unintentionally alter the song, and then he didn't sing in it. Okay, so let me run down a list. You give me a quick yes or no, I guess, unless you want to expand. So, became a movie star maybe? Rick Springfield, Hard to Hold was in 1984. Where was he? Now, technically he's American Australian. Would the Australian part have booted him out?
Maybe.
Well, pretty big.
That sounds like maybe he just had too much going on if he had his movie.
Okay, too much going. We'll
Maybe
give him
that's
that.
why he couldn't get it on his schedule.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, an album you had. Billy Idol, Rebel Yell.
Billy Idol seems like he wasn't. He was too rebellious. he wasn't more mainstream, even though he was
Female version of Cyndi Lauper.
Okay, yeah, I guess so.
Or male version, I said. I said female version.
Okay.
Alright.
I'll bet if he was asked, he would have been like, no thanks. He had done nothing with his lip.
Right. Okay, so Kenny Rogers was on it. Where was Dolly Parton? Big star?
Oh, yeah.
She's a big star, right? Was that a snub? Maybe?
Maybe.
Maybe Kenny didn't want to work with her again.
I don't know. Well, Islands in the Stream was probably before it, right?
Yes, it was.
Islands Stream was
I don't remember. I think it was 1983, but still.
I thought it was 1982, but okay. When was what year was?
1985 for We All, and it was in March.
Okay.
Very first guy to put it on an album right after
How
this.
long was the song?
You can find various versions, but it's over
Okay.
6 minutes long.
Okay.
Okay, so and
Gotta
by the
get
way,
everybody singing.
the first artist who sang on the song to then put out an album close to it was Kenny Loggins. Vox Humana came out later that month.
Okay.
All right, so let's do a few that come from supergroups. Okay. Big in 1984, Chicago 17.
Peter Cetera.
He just left. Why not? Considered a good voice. Could he have? Was that a snub? Or was his voice not distinct enough? Because they were supposed to be distinctive voices.
Is that what they were looking for? They were looking for not generic voices?
I don't know, because today you put today's artists, you put on a song.
I won't know who this is.
They all sound alike. You wouldn't be able to say which one's Snoop Dogg and which one's Jay-Z and which one's Usher. I don't know. They all sound alike. All right, so snub for Peter Cetera.
I don't know.
Okay, Lindsey Buckingham was in the background, right?
Was he? In
Yes,
This? Okay,
yes.
so
Where was Stevie Nicks? She just put out her album that had Stand Back on it.
Maybe they just broke it down. They didn't just bring it
You're talking about a distinctive voice. She sounds like a smoker voice, right?
Yeah.
Although maybe they chose between her and Kim Carnes, because Kim Carnes, who had Betty Davis eyes,
Yeah.
she sang on it, so she's the smoker's voice.
And so they can't have two smokers' voices on it, right?
Right? Okay, so the Eagles both split up, or they split up. Two biggest names had hits in 1984.
Yeah,
Don Henley, Glenn Frey. Where are they?
Though, yeah, definitely snubs right there.
Yeah.
They should both been on it.
Okay, now we want distinctive voices. Who doesn't have a bigger distinctive voice than Michael McDonald? Who had No Looking Back.
Did anybody have... Who was the lowest voice, I wonder, on that?
Good question. I don't know. I'd have to,
You have to listen to the song.
I have to listen to it again. I don't know.
Because his voice is pretty low.
Yeah, Michael McDonald, he was everywhere, though. Background for everybody.
Yeah, that's why he couldn't do it. Well, we got 20 projects this year. There's Gladys Knight over here, and there's James Ingram over there.
All right, four names that are in our top 25 artists. First, let's go with the female. Pat Benatar. Love is a Battlefield was pretty popular around this time.
Okay.
Right? So, or Invincible, that might have came out the same year. Could she have been there?
She could have.
Snub. I'll say it's a snub.
He's a snub, okay.
Okay, Billy Squire. Now, he's not there because he put that video out. And, he might have
Maybe he could have came back on this and surges.
He was probably asked that he put that video out. They're like,
never mind.
We gotta boot you out.
He got a phone. He was all set to do it, and then he got this phone call. Never mind. Oh no, he was like, you know what? We're canceling it, and then they did
it without him. That's funny. Don't tell him we're doing it. And then two Southern voices. Okay, Tom Petty, Southern Accents just came out. Now, he's just like Huey Lewis in the News. Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. Bring the Heartbreakers too, right?
Well, he was pretty big already before Southern Accents. He had a lot of songs.
There were some '70s artists still there. The other one, John Cougar Mellencamp. Now
definitely, because he was definitely for the middle class.
And he obviously he didn't get invited to this, and then he went off and did Live Aid. Right? He was the big contributor to that.
John Cougar specifically sang for the middle class American.
Yes.
He's like, I'm not singing for Africa. I'm singing for America.
There you go.
So, and then Bruce Springsteen's like, I'll do it.
He's like, yeah, we just gave all this money to the Africans. Maybe I could do that for farmers.
Farm Aid. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, okay. Last one. Since I was talking about 1984, let's go right to 1984. And you got the boot. Or you left, or whatever. David Lee Roth.
David Lee Roth. David Lee Roth's ego probably got the best of him.
Yeah.
So, I get the biggest line, right? It's like what he would say.
Yeah. He would have tried.
He gets there. We're all the chicks. That's what
he would try to outdo Bruce Springsteen, right? Or he's like, can I kick to that song? We are the world.
We are the world. Wow! He has to do a scream. And he does.
All right, so those were all the artists I chose as possible snubs. Who do you think was the biggest snub, aside from the one they all?
John Cougar. That's got to be why. Yeah, Farm Aid definitely has to be because he was snubbed. Yeah, I'm recalling he's the biggest
snub.
And that's why he did Farming, to show them.
But you know, okay, I was about to say Stevie Nicks, but then I thought Lindsey Buckingham was there, and they had issues, right?
Yeah, they did.
So maybe they couldn't coexist in the same
they're
room.
like, maybe that's another one of those. He's there? No, I won't.
Okay, so there you go. I'm going to say Dolly Parton. I'm actually going to say Dolly Parton because Kenny Rogers was there, and who's a bigger star than Dolly Parton? She has her own amusement park.
Yeah, Dollywood.
So, anyways, so that's the video for today. Who do you think was the biggest snub for not singing on We Are the World?
Yeah, maybe next time we bring you something, we'll have to, like, give a list of the people, which you can find. Go to Wikipedia, they got the list of the singers.
I do.
In order, I believe they have them in
I
order.
do. I have a list. That's going to be one of our next videos. Next video, if we do videos, keep going. I'm going to first do a video on why is he there? And then we're going to rank the rest on who was the biggest at the time they did it.
Okay.
Now, it's not obviously we ranked our albums. We could do it that way. I'm talking about who was the biggest star at the time out of these other stars that were left. All right, so next week, Lord willing, why were they there? That's our video. See you then. Bye.